So I'm here with John DeYoung, the CEO of Vivoblu. There are a lot of exciting things going on with this great organization that he has put together. Certainly, when we see all that, it's just very exciting to be able to, talk to you and do this interview and get it off. So, John, why don't you give us a little background on Vivoblu?
The genesis of Vivoblu is when I was going to India and looking for water filters for a nonprofit that I run in West Bengal, and the students that we have there and the humanitarian work we're doing right in the slums of West Bengal and Calcutta and then in the rural areas, we were utilizing different types of filters along the way, trying to bring clean water to them. One of the things we discovered is that many of the filter products that we were utilizing, although very, very great, they were amazing filters, some of the processes that we had to utilize and some of the extra pieces we had to utilize became very difficult for the developing world. And so Vivoblu came around because we needed to build something, find a solution for clean water with the mindset first and foremost with the end user, then utilizing the highest technology possible, and then put it at a price point that was affordable for the organizations that would take those filters and then bring them over to the third world countries.
So when you say challenges, do you mean the simplicity of use or the simplicity of replacing? What do you mean by that? Because I think it's a key characteristic.
The simplicity not only of use, but the simplicity of cleaning the filter. And then we created a filter that also has a replacement cartridge. The other filters on the market, if you want a filter, if your filter actually stops being effective, you have to buy the whole system. We didn't feel that that was always necessary. So we created a filter, a patent pending filter that is simple to use and simple to clean. And it has a replacement cartridge available. So all you're doing is buying actually the replacement cartridge. So what we did is we effectively eliminated backwashing and backflushing. We made a rinsable filter right behind me. All you have to do is half twist the cap off or the sleeve, and then just rinse the filter, and then you put the sleeve back on. And what that does is it allows all the particles on the filter to sort of leave the filter.
Wow.
And because you have an open filter, the particles and the bacteria that are on the outside of the filter will just leave the filter because you're vigorously cleaning it. The other filters that have a closed system where there's a small tube in and a small tube out, you have to sort of use a syringe to push clean water through. Water is going to have a tough time inside a closed filter with a small tube in, a small tube out to actually push all that stuff there. So we know that our system allows everything to sort of get off the filter, and then so it's clean, and then you get great flow rate again as well. So, and after some time, you don't have to buy the whole system. You only have to buy the cartridge.
It's really revolutionary. I mean, and so somebody's buying these and they want, obviously, we're talking to some people actually in Kenya about this. And let's say they want to buy 500 of these.
Yes.
What kind of per unit in the range are they talking about? Should they be thinking about?
When we're looking at filters going into the developing world, we know that the low-hanging fruit right now are the organizations that are working in those areas in the humanitarian cause and all that. Our nonprofit or organizational cost starts at $40 a filter.
$40.
$40, and it goes all the way down to $28, depending on quantity. So if you're doing about 500, I would say you would probably get those in there for about $35 a filter, and they last for multiple years. And then when we do the replacement cartridge, they're about $20-25. So that
wait. $40 down to 28. So how much water is this producing for me?
We think this filter, well, we know because we've had we've had our first generation out there for multiple years now. The filter is good for 2 years. And that's going to give you the highest quality of water for about 2 years. You could make it last another year, but the fear is that the quality will go down. So 2 years, you want to buy that replacement cartridge. It comes down to about 0.0001 cents per liter, knowing that a family generally is probably utilizing between, I would say, 20 to 40 liters a day. So this thing is constantly filtering water. As you can see, it's filtering quite a bit of water in our meeting already. And the rate that it's doing it at is very, very fast as well. And so as long as you clean it, when you see it get dirty, that's what's great about it. You can actually see this thing get dirty, then you rinse it, and then it's clean, and then you just put the top back on. That's it.
So for some number, 28 to $40, I can have clean water in my home
For multiple years.
for multiple years.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So, and any water, I mean, I pulled this from the river right behind our office. You know, it's really dirty. I mean, it's actually a lot dirtier than it looks. It's the water the dirt has settled, but it's filtering straight through that right now. So yeah, for 2 years minimally, this filter will work in your home, and for only, you know, $15, $17 a year.
It's world changing. Truly, truly world changing. This is just amazing. So with that, why don't you give me a couple of examples of some of the outcomes, the successes that Vivoblu has enjoyed with installations?
Yeah, I would like to talk about two things, Frank. Thank you so much for that question. One is, you know, we are now partnering right now, presently, with Compassion International. Yeah. They took 1,008 filters, and next week we're shipping them to Peru, to this village.
So exciting.
And so that's really exciting for us, is that an organization like Compassion, with all their expertise in water and humanitarian causes, have looked at our filter and said, we think this is one of the best on the market, and we're going to give you a shot. And so it's really exciting. They're going to be looking at other countries along the way. They'll test that for 30 to 60 days. They'll add another country and another country. So we're excited about that journey with an organization such as Compassion. Yeah. The other thing that I really think is very important in the Vivoblu world is that we want to know the family. We want to know who is getting the water filter and get a story. So there's a gentleman by the name of Bubai Das. He lives in Calcutta. He's had our filter for 2 years. And prior to that, his story was he himself was probably sick, you know, 1 week out of the month, and his daughter was sick 1 week out of the month. Now his daughter goes to our school. And since he's had the filter over 2 years, he can adamantly say and very proudly say, I work most of the days, and my daughter doesn't miss schools unless something else is happening. And so he's excited that her weight is growing. You know, she's gaining weight, she's getting healthier, and she's not falling asleep or getting sick all the time and missing all those days of school. And so I understand the power and the transformative power of clean water to a family. And he's making more money, and he's saving money with his medical bills. He's spending less time in the hospital and more time in the job and more time in school. So that's been a really cool thing to watch and follow his story and how the clean water is actually transforming his whole family.
So it becomes really a significant impact on health. I mean, yeah. Personal health.
It really is. I mean, if you were to take any child, 4 or 5 years old, and they were sick 80% of the time because they're just drinking bad water, how can they study?
Exactly.
Right. And so those are the things that we really look at, saying, how are we going to increase the quality of life for the families in the developing world with simple, clean water that we take for granted? Yes. You know what I'm saying? We just take that for granted, and we don't know what it's like to feel sick 80% of the time, and then the risk of death from water. Yes. We eliminate that from the table. We just take that off the table and saying, listen, Vivoblu brings clean water to you, but it's also a transformative tool for your family.
I can relate to that. One of my first mission trips was to Nicaragua, and you would meet people and in whole congregations and ask people if they were sick, and they would all put their hand on their stomach because they couldn't afford bottled water, obviously, and the water wasn't clean. And then the children, they thought if water was flowing, like in the gutter of a street, it was clean.
Right.
And because it's moving, it must be clean. So this is dramatic. So I mean, you've been at this a while, know a little bit of the history. So tell me a couple of the, you already have a little bit, but a couple of the real pleasant surprises that you have experienced as being CEO of this company.
Yeah, I think one of the things that is a pleasant surprise for me is your team is very valuable. And I think I have an amazing team in my company. The other surprising thing we discovered about this filter is as we were testing our prototypes, Frank, we discovered our filter will use the siphoning effect that it creates through this tubing to drain the water all the way to the bottom of the bucket. Wow. So most filters stop at wherever the tap is.
Right.
This filter, if it sits on the bottom, we were actually watching the water leave the bottom of the bucket into our filter because it creates such a strong siphoning effect. That was a really cool experience where we're like, well, wait a minute, it's to the bottom. Well, we also discovered one of my fun experiments was I actually tried to kill this filter. I actually tried to kill it by putting 8 pounds of sludge in water for 2.5 months. And I made that one filter to filter it over and over and over again. And I did not clean it. Then I dried it out in the Colorado sun, the filter. I opened it up, just left it out in the sun for a day, let it completely dry out. Then I put water in it and I cleaned the filter, and in 7.5 minutes, it started filtering again. I tried to kill it and it came to life.
Came back to life.
Yeah, and that was really neat because what if someone in Masai Mara accidentally opens up the filter, forgets to put it in the water, and they just left it out in the sun? Well, all you have to do is let it soak for like 3 to 4 minutes, then shake it for 3 to 4 minutes, and it starts to slowly drip water again. And so, you know, even with a damaged sun-baked filter, it still is able to revive itself because of the way we created the shakeable, the rinsable, no back flushing filter. So yeah, it's been fun.
That's fun. So you've established a relationship with Global Waterworks. You know, there's plenty of organizations out there, and certainly you are probably involved with a number of them. But why Global Waterworks and Vivoblu?
Well, I tell you what, you know, through relationship, you always meet really, really cool people. And I know that we have a relationship through Mary and all that. But one of the reasons, it's not the main reason why Global Waterworks, I think, is a great partner with us, is it matches our core values. Dedicated to mission. You guys are dedicated to your mission. You do have a can-do excellence attitude. We have a can-do excellence core value. And you do what you say. That's a really unique part of our company is even in, I would like to say team members versus employees. Our team members, one of the core values that we talk a lot about is just do what you say. You know, if you can't do it, that's awesome, but let us know that. And if you can, that's awesome, and then do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just do what you say attitude. We have bold innovation, and what you guys are doing, building this community of water, I think it's innovative and it's bold. Not everyone's doing that. It's collaborative. And we have relentless customer service. And what I've experienced with GWW is you guys are reaching out, you guys are communicating, you guys are networking, you guys are always reaching out to your network and your friends and organizations, and always communicating very, very, very well. And so, yeah, you just line up with our core values and mission, and that's been a really cool thing.
You've talked about the team. How big is the team now at Vivoblu?
Oh, it's about 17 million employees.
17 million.
We have 6 core people that work in our office. And then we have about 5 affiliates that are international. And so we have people in Kenya, in other countries. We're looking at another one in the Philippines. And a couple of American friends of mine who really have traveled around the world and said, hey, I know a lot of nonprofits that could use this. And so we have a sales team, but we also have a team of people who are like, I believe in your product, and I want to take that filter to this place. And so that's been fun.
So as we wrap up here, why don't you kind of relate a little bit to, you know, Vivoblu taking out the next 12 months and maybe the next 3 years. What does that look like to you?
Yeah, so I think our short-term goal, which is that 1 year to 1.5 year goal, is we really want to move about 30 to 36,000 filters, and that's amazing because that's hundreds of thousands of people that we're effectively touching, and then we want to get that data back. We want to get as much data points and metrics back from our partners and our friends around the world, and utilizing those metrics, and then move forward as we just get better as a company and better as a product. In 3 years, we would love to have 3 products total. The one that we have right now, which is sort of our flagship, and then 2 other ones. One that's going to touch the community size buckets, where you're talking about the 100 and 500 gallon units that are sitting on rooftops. We're testing one in Haiti right now as we speak, and an orphanage. And this filter system that we're sort of testing is affecting about 300 children. And it's amazing. So we're like, hey, if we can build a community filter, well, one, we're going to just touch more lives, right? We're going to touch more lives. We know we have to do the single family as well. So 3 years out, we would love to be touching about 5 million people. And that's our 3-year goal. But our 1.5 is just if we can get 30 to 35,000 filters out there. What we're going to be doing is we're going to get all those data points back. You're talking about 300,000 plus people, and we'll be able to, and we'll get more data and more information, and how we can just always improve our company and improve our products.
I was talking to Chris Sosnowski, and I guess you met him in Global Waterworks, and you and he are going to take a trip to Haiti. Is that
Honduras?
Honduras.
Yeah, we're excited at the end of November to go to Honduras, because one of the statements that we have in our company is we want to take a filter wherever it needs to go. And so Chris has a group of a village he supports in Honduras, up high in the mountains, I guess. Very difficult to get there, but they need water, right? They need water. And so he's like, hey, I want to work with you. I want to work with Vivoblu. We're going to get the filters from the airplane to the truck to the hiking to the motorcycle, and then we'll be in the village. So I'm excited to sort of film and capture that process, so that we don't say it, we actually do what we say. When we say we want to take a couple filters to the highest part of Honduras, we will do it. And I'm going with him, and that'll be really fun.
John, I appreciate the time you're spending with us here, and what a great company, what a great concept. And we look forward to working with you for just huge success in the future.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it, Frank. I love your organization. Thank you.
Take care.